and I will call the meeting to order and ask that the other members identify themselves by name for anyone who's watching on TV or on Zoom. Starting-
I'm Carol Etzold.
Betsy
Rich Levy.
Flaherty.
Sorry.
It's okay. Ed,
Ed Hafner.
Betsy,
Betsy Furtney.
Lara.
Lara Slivka.
Okay. And Mia, I know that Judith Bruce was going to try to call in via phone. I can't tell if she's there or not.
There is a 508 phone number out there. I can allow them to talk. Perhaps that's her.
Yes, please do, because that could be her. Hopefully she'll unmute and tell me it's her.
Yeah, she's able to unmute if she'd like to.
Okay. She hasn't yet, but maybe it's not her.
I was gonna say maybe
and-
someone else.
Anyway, on the agenda, the primary purpose for the meeting today was to review the draft recommendations memo that the committee will send to the select board, copying the Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners, which we reviewed at our last meeting, and there were some changes and some suggestions made. Ed Hafner was nice enough to assist me with trying to revise it. I thank him. And I'm opening it up for comments for the rest of you.
I just had two, Judy. In addition to
Okay.
a stray comma in the first sentence you need to get rid of.
Okay, I know, I found a couple little
Okay.
type
In
stuff.
the,
That one didn't. Where is the stray comma?
the citizens of Orleans, comma.
Okay,
We don't need a comma, do we?
No,
Okay.
did go through some, my eyes started crossing at a certain point on this.
No problem. Then in the second paragraph, I know that Cedar Pond is brackish and therefore not technically a freshwater pond. But to people in our town, Cedar Pond is a pond that they're concerned about. So I think we should list it as one of the ponds that has had a management plan and note that it's a brackish pond. But that truly was the first full, complete management plan that was done. And then in addition to the, in addition to the excellent summary you have at the end of page 1 and going into page 2, where we talk about the properties that we'd like to include in the sewering, I think it's very important to reiterate that a recommendation has gone forward for Uncle Harvey's Pond as well. So that they see, we've started with one, we've made a recommendation, that's in process. Now we're making this recommendation for the next 2 ponds, and that'll be in process. So we want to be sure we don't lose sight of the Water and Sewer Board has responsibility for all of the ones that we've been recommending we move forward for. But I thought you captured the broader introduction. And with the attachments, if someone diligently reads those, I think it covers the waterfront that we
Betsy,
need.
which paragraph are you referring to? Is the one that begins with the committee discussed options?
No, so at the bottom of page, the paragraph at the bottom of page 1.
Yeah, that's on the
Talks about
bottom.
all the options, and then it talks about the sewering. Then it says after deliberations, the committee has voted.
Okay.
But I just think somewhere between those 2 paragraphs or the next paragraph, we need to add that we're asking the Water and Sewer Board to consider upgrading homes at Uncle Harvey's Pond as well.
Okay.
Because we forget
the-
some of these select board members were not present when some of this original work started, so long ago. And those are my only 2 comments.
that
Okay.
might work in the paragraph that begins committee review of the management. No, wait. Yeah, committee review of the management plans for Crystal Lake and Pilgrim Lake. That's the paragraph. But then you go on to describe what we did for
Harvey's.
Harvey's Pond, and may also, in sort of right after that sentence, this contrasts with Uncle Harvey's Pond, where the pond sediments were the primary cause of impairment. And maybe say briefly that
Yeah.
The recommended fix for that pond, not those words, was an alum treatment and also connecting certain properties to phase 2 of the sewering plan.
Yes, Carol, that looks like a really good spot to add that sentence in.
Can you repeat that sentence, Carol?
Well, I didn't say it for dictation purposes, but it says, this contrasts, the sentences that's written is, this contrasts with Uncle Harvey's Pond, where the pond sediments were the primary cause of impairment. Next sentence should be something like, the recommendation for that pond was an alum treatment and also sewer connections to certain properties known to be contributing sewage.
I think you could just say to reduce future watershed addition.
Perfect.
Judy,
Someone
did you get a chance to look at the comments that I had sent for changing the letter, and by chance were any of them inserted into here? I was just curious.
Yes, that was a while back, and I did, and I read your comments to the rest of the committee, and I think that I probably rearranged things a little bit to try to reflect some of them, but I can't say off the top of my head what I included and didn't include.
Yeah, no, I was just curious because I had made a bunch of changes to that memo.
It's gone through a revision since then.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
this-
I understand.
yeah.
I was just curious.
But they were considered, absolutely.
Laura, is there anything that you want added?
No, at this point in time, no.
With regard to Cedar Pond, adding that in, I'm reluctant to do that because the paragraph is talking about freshwater pond. And Cedar is definitely, at the time, was a marine. The salinity had gone up so much that it was marine. The goal is to return it to a brackish system, but we are talking in that paragraph specifically of freshwater ponds.
Okay.
That's why it's.
I
I wrestled with that myself, but for brevity, we're trying to also keep this brief and to the point. So.
And just one other thing, Judith sent me a message that says that she can't unmute. She's tried pressing *6 twice, but it's still not letting her come in to join the meeting, but she is listening.
Is there something that Mia can do at her end about that?
She's fully enabled in Zoom. If she's that 508 number, there's nothing I can do. She can try leaving and coming back, seeing if she has more luck that way. So she can hear you. So
You should check.
I've
her
never
volume button.
called in.
Yeah.
Yeah, she might,
Well-
if that's a landline, if she has a mobile phone.
No,
She
it's
might
not
do
a
better.
land.
No.
No, she's
Okay.
on a mobile device. That's
Huh.
why she's calling in. I can see that the mute is,
Yeah.
she's got
Active.
herself muted. I just don't know what to tell her because I've never called in on a phone before.
yeah, she's doing everything right. It's not it's just not unmuting. So she could try leaving, coming back, seeing if that resets it.
Okay, well, she can hear you, so hopefully she'll disconnect and try to call in again and see if it will work this time.
But I think this captures what we were trying to
Mhm.
communicate with the select board. And presumably, we will be asked to be present so that if someone was unclear about Cedars Pond, you could answer that when you're standing there rather than have it in the memo. Because some of those select board members weren't present when the whole Cedar Pond management plan was finalized.
Yeah, probably it will be if they request our presence to come before them. That's usually how that's done.
Right.
I just
Sorry,
had a
Judy, you do
couple-
have a raised hand in the attendees. Do you want me to enable that person to talk?
Yeah, because I don't, let's see, I don't see them. But yes, please. I don't know who it is, but
Can you hear me?
Yep.
this is Sue Sargent, Friends of Crystal Lake.
Right. I'm trying to get into the meeting, but I can see all of you, but I'm not in there.
Well, you are, but you're a little icon right now. But
Oh,
we hear you. Yeah,
Okay.
you're live right now on channel 18 with us.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Carol.
I just had a couple of minor wording changes that I think might strengthen it. In the first paragraph's third line are a source of different revenue streams to the town, e.g. property taxes, parking fees. Since you've listed 2 examples of revenue streams, we can see those are different. I would say, and contribute to important revenue streams or are important contributors to revenue streams.
Okay. If
That we don't need to enumerate them, is that what you're saying?
Well,
Karen?
no, I think she should, but different is kind of well, it's obvious there's more than one. 'Cause
Oh,
you've
I
already
see what you're
listed
saying.
2. And we could add a qualifier in there that would strengthen the importance of clean water in the ponds. By saying,
do you want to
like,
send the suggested wording to me and Ed Hafner? Ed and I
sure,
beat this one to death, didn't we, Ed?
I think she just wants to put the word important in there instead of.
yeah, and say contribute to, are an important contributor to revenue streams, to our revenue streams or something. But if you need me to send that, I can do it.
It always helps because I'm trying to lead a meeting and scribble, and so.
Sure. Okay. And then I had in paragraph 3 that begins with the word unfortunately, but let's see. Oh,
Mhm.
the second sentence, these impairments fail to attain state regulatory minimums. Well, the impairments reach the state regulatory minimums. It's the ponds that don't. So I would say these impairments prevent these ponds from attaining state regulatory minimums.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I think that I had added in my comments that it would be good to put in the reference to where we can find those basic
Standards.
methodology guidance for, the standards.
Yeah. I ran that past Ed Eichner, and he said that those are methods used for by the state for their monitoring programs and did not apply to this particular, the work that was done here.
Well, then
That's
we should put down the standards for what we use then, so that what that document is then referencing should be someplace on our website so that people can see what they are.
Is there anything in the management plan that talks to?
I
those
don't think
points?
those standards apply to this project is what I think what Ed was saying. That's why I didn't include them. It's for their state monitoring that they do. It's their
I understand that, but we're referencing standards here in this memorandum. So where can those standards be found then?
I'll find them and see if we can add it as a link or something.
Aren't these meant to be the eco-region standards that have been
Yes.
consistently applied all the way through?
Yeah, they are.
I don't see why
exactly
we
it.
can't state, there's 3 standards, so I don't see why we couldn't just state them
I'm
rather
making a
than
note.
send somebody off to another document. It's
Yeah, just.
10 milligrams per liter for phosphorus and
Yeah,
Because we're trying to keep
Long.
this to the point and short.
Yeah.
The select,
Yeah,
it's ideal if it's a page. We're a page and a half.
Right. Yes.
So,
That's exactly why I thought referencing it would be better, because there's definitely, there's quite a few standards in there.
so if I have any comment, it's that the memo should be as short as possible.
Yes.
Cecil has talked to us about how many documents that the select board has to read.
yeah.
And we certainly are giving them 100-page something management plan where they can get all the data they want. Now, we could put an appendix with some of these items in it, but I think the main document should be as short as possible and to the
right.
point, and not so driven by detail. Otherwise, we're gonna just shut everyone down and they're not gonna. listen.
We are going to attach the executive summaries from both the management plans for Pilgrim Lake and Crystal Lake. And the actual management plan for Pilgrim, we show that that's on the town website. The Crystal one will get on the town website once this memo is finalized and approved, and it goes in as part of the submission that SMAST is making to the town. So that's what they're waiting for, is this memo. So,
Yeah.
and then it'll become a final report, and then it will be on the town website.
I can't, I'm trying to look at the document that you had sent out, Judy, and then some of the comments I had. Can you just you have the document in front of you, right? Can I just ask you a couple quick questions? Because
Sure.
I can't do a comparison. Thanks.
This is the one I just sent out, the revised final.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have your,
Yeah, so I was just looking at my notes, how I made some cross-offs and stuff. And so in one of the second to last paragraph about the timeline for connecting, it's the first sentence. If the timeline, do you still have reviewing, sewering options and connecting?
yes.
So my comment was, if the timeline, and then just instead of reviewing, sewering options and connecting, I just said cross out reviewing, sewering options, and just said, if the timeline for connecting these properties.
Right.
I was just trying to make it shorter, so that it was less to read. And then
Okay.
I'm going to go a little bit backwards too. If the second paragraph,
First page.
yeah, first page.
Okay.
And then, so the second paragraph started off with review of the management plan for both lakes by the committee showed that. Is that still how it starts?
Second paragraph begins with as part of the CWMP process.
Okay, so hold on, let's see.
This is on the first page of the document.
All right. All right, so this is the old one.
Yeah.
So anyway, my comment was, instead of review, my comment was to just say the primary source of water quality impairments. Kurt, can you stop that, please? Was excessive phosphorus. Sorry, there's a lot of noise in my house.
That's okay. I believe we mentioned that elsewhere.
Was it maybe the
About-
third paragraph down? I'm
Yeah,
sorry to
it's
take up the
third.
time. Yeah,
As
so,
far as excessive phosphorus is in the fourth paragraph.
right, so
where it
what's
talks-
the start of the sentence? Is it review of the
committee
management
review-
plans?
Committee review of the management plans for Crystal Lake and Pilgrim Lake showed that the primary source of the water quality impairments was excessive phosphorus nutrients, primarily from adjacent septic systems.
Okay, and I also crossed off nutrients because phosphorus is a nutrient. I just felt like, because excessive phosphorus from
Period.
watershed septic
Comma.
systems,
Yeah,
like we didn't need primarily or adjacent, we just needed, it was excessive phosphorus from watershed septic, period. And then
It was-
SMAS calculated 26 residents instead of the SMAS management plan, just have SMAS. Calculated 26 residents for contributing phosphorus, blah, 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 blah.
Well, they're talking about how the management plans both showed that, that it's referring to both of the plans.
Okay. And then the last one was in Crystal and Pilgrim Lakes, the primary phosphorus source are septic systems. So basically, I think we can get rid of during the summer, and both lakes added more phosphorus to the lake because septic systems are always going to be adding phosphorus to the lakes.
Hmm.
So I just said, cut it down and saying Crystal and Pilgrim Lakes, the primary phosphorus source are septic systems. Period. And I mean, and if you don't, I'm fine just leaving it as it is and just submitting it to the Board of Selectmen. I was just trying to cut it down so that it was shorter.
Okay. Just
Yeah, I
making
think
notes.
that supports what Ed was saying about,
Mhm.
you know, short and sweet is better, and every word cut out makes it tighter.
Well, although I did object to Judy cutting out my phrase describing Orleans as a piscatorial paradise.
Right.
Yes, I loved it, but I wasn't sure I could put it in there. That was for the first paragraph on, you know, talking about the importance of these lakes from a ecological standpoint, as well as, you know, attracting home buyers to want to be in our piscatorial.
paradise.
Yes.
Nice.
I think Ed has a real
Great phrase,
flourish
though.
with his pen.
Piscatorial is.
I have a question. This gets back
Certainly.
to Laura and Ed, especially trying to cut this down. I know that on the last call, we talked about sort of this paradise that we live in. And looking at the first paragraph, I almost, except for the part where you do talk about sewering downtown Orleans and so forth, which, you know, is useful because it falls into what we talk about later. But I just wondering that first paragraph, whether it's really necessary. In particular, these particular ponds and lakes, and again, this is my rookie status, but how do they relate to the different revenue streams such as property taxes and parking fees? Do any of these have parking fees associated with them? The use of them?
Yes,
Sure.
yes. Pilgrim Lake does.
Beach stickers.
Yeah,
Just
you
the
have to
beach sticker. That's what I was asking. So you have to have the beach sticker there on the,
park at Pilgrim Lake. Yes, not at Crystal, but Pilgrim Lake. Correct.
okay. So that one has it. And then the property tax, did that refer to the fact that if you have a view or I think watershed access or whatever, I think there's an additional factor that's applied to your valuation. And then you pay according to that. Is that what you meant by the property taxes? Or you mean it's just
Yeah.
attracts people?
It attracts people who want to live on the water. And the homes are sometimes larger homes or more expensive homes.
Okay,
And there are rentals too. Rentals pay.
Yep.
okay.
Rental
Okay.
property. I didn't get into all the.
Yeah,
different-
no, I know. I'm just curious, you know,
We're
whether it
just
was
trying
really,
to show that, we're just trying to show that there are many reasons why these lakes are important
Right.
in our town.
right.
Yeah.
Anyway, the paragraph itself it's good. It reflects what we said. If you had to cut something, that would be something that I think you could do if you needed to get it so it was all, you know, briefer. But that was just my thought, because you could almost start right at the beginning with the second paragraph.
Right.
That
I
was our
think,
whole conversation last
I know.
meeting, was that we were trying to get.
right, we
set up-
No, I
leave it
get
up
it.
how important
I
they
get it.
are, so.
I'm right with you. I'm just reading through it and the length
Well,
of it and
also
so
you-
forth.
We try to think of the audience also. I mean,
Yeah,
the select board are certainly aware, and the Board of
Mhm.
Water and Sewer Commissioners are certainly aware of
Yeah.
all of this. But there are other people that may also be reading it or looking at these recommendations. That's why it's in there.
Yeah, and I really like the
If you-
figure 1 that you inserted in here with the watersheds marked and stuff. That's very valuable, really helps the reader deal
Well,
with the
yeah.
intricacies of this.
And the copy I have is black and white, and I apologize, but I know there's probably people on TV. I'm trying to see this, hold it up. But when we talk about phase two is coming down all the way to Crystal Lake right now.
Mhm.
And so that's one of the reasons we felt that it was logical and beneficial if it could be considered to just extend beyond phase two. This whole area is the Meeting House Pond phase two. And it does include a property there on Crystal Lake already.
If it's ever helpful, I'd be more than willing to do a share screen type of thing with a document and actually do the editing right online, which we could do, I'm pretty sure. So just if you wanted to show that picture, there is the
That's
possibility
okay.
of doing that.
Well,
So,
if you want to show, if it doesn't take too much time to just show that figure in color, that would
Yeah.
help maybe
let me see if I can do it. And I will.
are looking at it.
But it is in color on the
Yeah, it
agenda.
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Copies
is.
Because
will
I've
be
got it.
submitted will be in color for sure.
There
There
Did
it
that
is.
work?
Yeah,
Thank you so
That's
much,
good.
Rich. So the red cross-hatched area is phase two, Meeting House Pond. And as you can see, it comes right down to Crystal Lake. And includes a few properties there.
And these are the watersheds, which I liked what you did there, because that really helps
Well, I did not
explain
generate the
why
fig-
these properties are important, because they're in the watershed.
Yeah, this came out of the management plan.
yeah.
It was generated by SMAS. And then Route 28, you can see where that goes down along Crystal Lake and then on down towards Pilgrim Lake. Yep. And then the blue denotes the direction of water flow and the watershed where it's coming in from Brewster side and travels through Crystal Lake and then on down. And that's why we included the fact that we will also get some nitrogen mitigation if these are connected to the sewer system because, and that will help the upper Pleasant Bay areas.
Mhm.
And so we put that in our memo also.
Right.
Additional benefits. I thank you, Rich.
Yeah. Would you like me to stop sharing, or do you want this on the screen at all?
Well, I've already written comments
Yeah.
all over my copy. And I'm hoping that Ed Hafner also took notes.
I did
so that
too.
we- Okay, good. So that we can address the comments. I'm feeling really bad that Judith is not apparently able to comment because I'm sure she probably had comments. I can see that she's still muted there.
So will you be trying to do another draft, or do you want to just proceed ahead with the final edition?
I will need to revise this. I would prefer if you are confident enough in this form and with making the changes that we discussed today, I would like a vote, the committee to vote on if they approve that this be submitted. Just because of the timing, we are meeting again February 8th. So it is up to you what you'd like to do. If you want to look at it again, that's okay also. I just know if anything has to be considered from a budget standpoint, I think the clock ticks.
Mhm. Did you also, did you mention that Ed Eidner had looked over this just so we got the numbers right, the 26 and the 22?
Yes, Ed Eichner looked at it, and as well as Carolyn Kennedy, because she was chair for like
Yeah.
95% of this whole process.
Yeah.
Um,
And the
they both-
19, yeah, the 19 and 13 looked right from what we said before, but that's good to just have a second set of eyes in addition to our own.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd like to move that you proceed with the final copy with your minor changes. And I think the committee should vote to support getting that to the select board as soon as possible because it affects the work of ACOM. They need to know as soon as possible.
I second that. Rich,
All those in favor by name, please. I, Judy Scanlon.
I, Betsy Fertney.
Hi, Ed Hafner.
I, Carol Etzold.
I, Rich Levy.
Hi, Lara Slivka. And can I just add one thing that Judith says, please let them know I'm listening and that I'm in favor of the recommendation as written and also okay on minutes. So just,
Okay, she just texted you or called you?
she texted me earlier,
Okay,
but
I'm
she
not sure.
can't be, we can't include that in there. I just wanted to let
Oh.
you know that.
I know, I wish that she was able to unmute.
Yes, I know you're pissed.
Okay. I thank you very
wouldn't-
much.
Does she have an iPhone? I know she's listening and you have an iPhone. I don't know if you have a home button or the up swipe, but you might be able to get your phone off of the mute. If you hit the home button, double click the home button and then go to the phone, it should allow you to, the phone may be actually at the top of your screen even in kind of a green color. You click on that and might allow you to unmute yourself. I don't know Android phones very well, so, but anyway, sorry.
If she heard you, maybe she will.
Yeah.
We've
I
completed the vote, correct?
Yeah, 6-0.
Okay, are we moving to the next agenda item?
Yes, I just want to before I move on to the next one, I do know that we have some attendees out there. Sue Sargent, Friends of Crystal Lake. I see Carolyn Kennedy. I see the Boyces who live on Crystal Lake, and I also see our consultant Scott Fisher. So I will ask if anyone else has any comments before I move on to the next item in the agenda. And Mia, if you can allow anyone to speak who wishes to make a comment.
They're all allowed to speak now. They can unmute themselves if they'd like to.
Okay, I don't see anybody or hear anyone commenting, so I'm going to move on to the next agenda item. And I thank everybody for their thoughtful review and good comments. It's been a long process, and I thank you all. Uncle Harvey's Pond, I planned on just doing a brief update on the CONSCOM hearing status, although I do see that
I
Scott
will
is.
respectfully recuse myself for this portion of the meeting.
Rich, just make a note that
Yeah.
Betsy recused herself for this portion of the meeting. Thank you. I do see Scott Fisher here on. He's our consultant for Uncle Harvey's Pond implementation. I don't know if he wishes to do a update or not.
I can give an update, Judy, if you'd like.
Sure.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to see everyone's face. Just a quick update on the hearing. We had the hearing on Tuesday morning. It was a productive hearing. Really appreciate the commission's thorough review of our submittal. I think it went well. I think it went about as we had planned, and they have requested that we come back with some adjustments to the submitted notice to answer questions that the commission had. So we're in the process right now of compiling all of our notes that we took during that hearing to ensure that we're responding to all the questions that they had. And then we'll be in front of them again with our response once we have that ready to go.
And it's continued to the 16th of February.
That is correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I also will follow up by saying that I thought that the commissioners asked some really good questions. There was good discussion. Some of those questions dealt with the request for some additional information, as Scott mentioned, regarding our alternatives analyses that was done. Some questions about water quality monitoring before, during, and after treatment. Potential environmental impacts to the site, the actual shoreline and site for access in and out of the pond. And some more information on previous alum applications on Cape Cod, the results. So there were many more, but I thought it was all good discussion as well.
And just FYI, those comments are due from us by February 11th to give the commission enough time to review our responses. But Judy's correct. A lot of it had to do with the SMAS report, the Ken Wagner report, and just making sure that that is more part of a document rather than being referenced. So that's a big component of it.
Right, thank you for clarifying. Also, a question for you. There were 15 written questions submitted the morning of the hearing, so we didn't see them. Have you received them yet?
I believe we have. I need to look into that right now, Judy, but I'm fairly certain that we have those as well from the commission.
Okay, thank you.
I don't,
You
are there
said
any-
more, when you said more, does that mean in addition to the ones you already mentioned, or did that include the ones you already mentioned? You said 15 more questions. Did that include the ones that you already have mentioned?
No, it's more rich. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few questions.
Okay.
There was a document that was submitted late by a resident of Orleans, not early enough to get in front of everybody's eyes before the hearing. So there were some questions that were stipulated within that document. So we have that now. Judy, just to confirm, we do have that. And then let's see. And then there's just a few more additional comments and questions that have been sent to us, in addition to the ones that we very quickly wrote down as we were going through it all. So we're right now we're just collating and combining all of our notes to make sure that we think we have all of the comments that they were looking for compiled together, along with those requested by the commission and by this resident as well.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the committee members? Okay, I will also ask if there are any comments or questions from the audience. Barring none, thank you, Scott, for the update and your efforts to date.
No problem. Thank you.
Excellent.
Betsy, if you can rejoin us. There she is. Thank you. And you're up with just a brief update on the Dredge Advisory Committee.
okay, the Dredge Advisory Committee met on January 11th. It was a 2.5-hour, very detailed meeting. The two principal subjects were the memo from Woods Hole Group on the dredging for Pleasant Bay sites. So we went through each site and determined that for Quonset, Narrows, and Pawa, that mechanical dredging would be appropriate, and we believe there are sites for deposition of the material, and that for Lonnie's and Aries, that it would require mechanical dredging, and in addition to the River Road dewatering site, that also the Meeting House Pond parking lot would be appropriate for dewatering if necessary. Subsequent to that meeting, I had done some additional research on terrapins, and Judy provided me with her perspective on the diamondback terrapins in the area. So I have provided to the committee comments from both Dr. Bresnell and Bob Prescott on terrapins, and that will be addressed at today's meeting. The second part of the discussion, and by far the lengthiest part, was a very detailed discussion of line-by-line inputs into the model for the dredging purchase feasibility study. So the Woods Hole Group folks listened, and more data was provided by members of DAC. And their goal is to be able to run as many parameters as possible based on the outcome of some of the future meetings. So for example, if we are not allowed to dredge behind the barrier beach, the model would easily be able to delete the cubic yards of material that would no longer be part of a dredging purchase feasibility study. So Woods Hole Group has that, and they're going to work on that, and I'm sure we will see another iteration. Today's meeting at 5:30 was supposed to include the consultants from FOTH, the folks that did the analysis at Rock Harbor. I understand they are not going to be available. So we are proceeding ahead, but we will not have the consultants for Rock Harbor who did the work a decade ago. And that's pretty much it.
And you have a meeting tonight.
Yes, that's what I said tonight. That's what we will
Yep.
be,
And
we'll be
are you
discussing.
are you going to also talk about that eDNA tonight?
What's the eDNA?
It was a email that Charlie had sent out about the state is I think there's a grant, but the state is interested in including Orleans as a study site for this, using eDNA to determine the presence or absence of particular fish species.
It is not on our agenda, but it may be included.
Okay.
It's hard to say because that's current information, and that was sent out after the agenda had been set.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Betsy regarding the Dredge Advisory Committee activities or her report? Okay, thank you very much, Betsy.
You're welcome.
The next item on the agenda, I put on here freshwater pond projects or water quality monitoring. With regard to future freshwater pond management plans, you know, we've gone through this process now for Pilgrim, Crystal, Baker's will be completed this next season. And of course, Uncle Harvey's. Way back, if some of you who were on the committee remember, we did have a priority list of ponds to do assessments and management plans. So I guess my question going out to you is, what next, if anything? I think Boland was one of the most impaired ponds, so it was high on the list. And I'm just putting it out there for discussion. We can discuss it just a little bit today and put it on the agenda for February. But I do bring it up in case, if the committee feels that they want to start another pond at this juncture, I would think that there were budgetary considerations, and we should make the town aware if that's the direction we want to go. Thoughts? Betsy?
I stated last meeting that the reason I felt we should move forward with Boland Pond is because, number one, it is so impaired, but because it's part of the phase 1 sewering, something we're struggling with to achieve on the other 3 ponds, that's going to be first out of the chute. So therefore, with the stoppage of the stream of phosphorus from septic systems going in, we might be able to make significant headway in Boland Pond, given the removal of septic effluent phosphorus. So I would, and it's right in the middle of town. It's very visible. It's consistent with our philosophy of having an attractive downtown area. It has land trust property with a bench right alongside it. So it's visible, it's going to be sewered, it's seriously impaired, and the children at both schools, both the middle school and the elementary school, have the ability to use that pond for science projects. So I think it should float to the top of our list. And we would need funding. I'm pretty sure we're out of money.
Anyone else on the committee have an opinion on this?
I think it's a good idea for all of Betsy's reasons.
What's the public access at the pond?
The Conservation Trust has some property there that is, can be accessed by the public. The town owns quite a few of the properties there. The middle school abuts it. I'm not sure if the elementary school does also, or the fire department.
Elementary, yes.
Yes, and then there's condos. I'm not looking at the map right now. I don't have it in front of me. I mean, it's not a pond that is heavily used by the general public, except for the Conservation Trust area. It was also used at one point. I'm not sure if that's continuing with educational program with the middle school. There is a trail that was developed in there, and I know there was something going on with the school with education. I know Carolyn is still with us, and she, I think, is much more knowledgeable on some of these things. So when we're done, when the committee members are done, I will see if she has anything to add. Betsy, you have your hand again.
Yes, Sandy Bain, when Sandy Bain and I were both members of the Orleans Pond Coalition, they did an extensive outreach program in conjunction with the school and the public and all of the abutters to the area. And that is when the old trail system was re-cleared. Areas were designated for children's classrooms, both at the elementary end and at the middle school end. What ultimately happened was a disagreement over how and when to remove poison ivy. And my understanding is that without the poison ivy removed, that the middle school was very reluctant to have students go down there. So I do not know its current status, but the science teachers themselves were overwhelmingly in support of utilizing this really special pond right in their own backyard. But you must understand that the town does not own the properties per se. They are managed by the school administration system, and access to the pond is very specifically closed off to the public until the end of the school day. So the public may only have access to the pond from the two school properties after school hours, Monday through Friday, or on Saturday and Sunday. This is the pond that previously had been used for ice fishing, ice skating, all sorts of activities. And I can't see why, if this pond wasn't cleaned up, that it couldn't be restored to being a real jewel in the downtown necklace of hiking paths and movement paths. And we'd obviously have to work very closely again with the school administration, which has changed hands since Sandy and I did that study a decade ago. But, you know, I would definitely be supportive of getting back in touch with the science teachers, because it's right in their backyard. It's a golden opportunity for educators.
Yeah, I seem to remember years ago when I did some monitoring there, the bottom is extremely cold. You know, colder than you would expect a pond at that depth to be. I mean, it rivaled Baker Pond, which is considerably deeper. So I'm always been curious what's going on down there with the freshwater lens.
Carolyn probably knows about that. I recall Carolyn mentioning that as well.
What other ponds might be considered? Are there any others with public access?
Sorry about that. You know, you shut the phone off, you put it on Do Not Disturb, and it still does that. I've never figured out how to adjust that. I apologize. Continue.
I asked if there are other ponds in town that have public access that might also be high on the list.
Well, we've done our great ponds now. So those were the key ones with public access, although certainly the town and or the Orleans Conservation Trust have trails on quite a few of our. Yeah, Twinings, Ice House, you know, there are different degrees of public access to other ponds, but the degree of impairment at Boland was more severe than those two I mentioned.
And historically too, Ed, back in 2017, when I originally coordinated Dr. Wagner's assessment of the Uncle Harvey's pond and looking at Sarah's pond and looking at Uncle Seth's pond, some of these ponds are 100% private. So for example, at Uncle Seth's pond, their little friends group hired Dr. Wagner to do an initial assessment where their problem was mainly rooted plants. So
I was driving at the idea of public ponds because that would engage the public more.
Right.
I remember Baker's was kind of high on our priority list.
well, that's already
Well,
in
that-
process.
Yeah,
It's in the Okay.
the water quality assessments and all the watershed assessments for Baker's Pond have been completed. The management plan will now be prepared like they were for Crystal and Pilgrim and Uncle Harvey's this year.
Oh, good. I
Yeah.
should have remembered that.
But we
It's
really
okay.
are to the point where the Orleans Conservation Trust probably is the biggest owner of all of the remaining ponds that have public access. So maybe Judy, since you're on the you're on the board of the Orleans Conservation Trust, see if they have any preference for Trinings versus Ice House versus, see if there's some concerns they have, and perhaps working in conjunction with their land management folks to see if they have one that floats up to the top compared to the others.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I think it's also important for Judith to be able to participate in this discussion. So I will ask you how you feel about continuing this at our next meeting on the 8th of February, when maybe everyone is here.
Yeah.
Sure, that'd be great.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Also, if Carolyn is still here, which I have to,
She is.
is she? Okay.
Yep.
If Carolyn comments, I'd love to hear from her.
It's showing unmuted, but
Yep.
now she's muted. She was unmuted, now she's muted.
You're muted, Carolyn. I don't know if that means she doesn't want.
Yeah,
Oh,
There she is.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Welcome.
Okay. There is a list which I will find on my computer and get to you. A matrix which we had listed out ponds into the future and when we
Right.
might do management plans on them. My feeling about Boland, just to skip back to that, is that a major part of its problem is the sediment that has come off of Route 6A from the Staples Plaza up toward the bowling alley. There are countless drains, all of which drain into that pond and bring all their sediment, sand with it. I don't know whether there's a sewer pipe going along there in the near future. If it is, it's the perfect time to get them to
Yeah.
do something with all those, although we may be late in saying it. But there's such a huge amount of sand that has built up in the western part of that pond that with a direct straight pipe, actually, Commonwealth actually owns a piece of the bottom of that pond where their pipe goes. So until we can straighten out some of the sediment issues, the town was supposed to correct a drain that's on Brewster Crossroads, which also was a major contributor of sediment and nutrients. And I don't know whether they've done that yet. Don't see any evidence of it as I drive by there. And of course, the famous one from Friends Parking Lot. I don't know how much that is.
I know, and they've done a lot of work over there too, but I don't know if they ever changed the drainage.
Well, that whole shoreline is filling in. So
Mhm.
to me, the problem with that pond right now is if we can't stop the sources of sediment, your chances of, as a first step, your chances of then correcting other things are very low. It is indeed the coldest pond that we have. And it's, a third the depth or less of Baker's and Crystal and all the rest. So there is a very deep, deep sediment segment of the groundwater that comes up into that pond.
If I recall, it's around 20 feet at the
Yes.
deepest point,
It's 6 meters.
compared to Baker Pond, our deepest pond, which is around 60 feet deep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carolyn,
You're
for
welcome.
adding all that information. It's important information. And I do remember that matrix, our priority matrix. Some of you who are on the committee probably remember that as well. So we will pick this up again. I'll put it on the agenda for the February meeting. Anyone else have any other comments on Boland or any other ponds? Okay, I thank you all. And thanks again, Carolyn. Next item on the agenda is the minutes from November 16th, 2020, which I did send out earlier this month. So hopefully you all have had plenty of time to look at them. And I do thank Rich for preparing them. Those were his first minutes as clerk. He did a good job, lots of detail.
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor by name, I, Judy Scanlon.
I, Betsy Furtney.
I, Ed Hafner.
I, Rich Levy.
Hi, Carol. So,
I, Laura Slivka.
Thank you very much. Minutes are approved, and we'll do the December minutes at our February meeting. Ed, did you have any luck yet determining the status of the minutes that don't appear on our committee site on the town website?
I
For
haven't done anything since we talked. The September and October ones, I think you're referring
okay,
to.
correct. They're not showing there, but all right.
I thought I had dropped them in the town box, but I may not have. So I will redo those. I'll look into that, take care of it.
They could also be behind. They're sometimes working under the COVID is challenging for all town departments right now.
Yeah.
So Ed, is that the best way for me to take this final version of the November notes and take it downtown and drop it into the box?
It's
Or
the
do I
safe,
keep-
yeah, it's the safest way. Yeah, they want a
Okay.
physical copy, I believe, not an.
Oh, okay. All right, no PDF, right.
You
I
can
think
send
What
them
I-
PDF.
You
I-
can ask.
You
But
can
it
do them
has
a PDF to
I
Kelly. Yeah,
but-
I had
Yep.
more
But
success with
usually
that.
they ask you to sign on top your name and the vote, and the meeting at which it was approved. So they're approved minutes and they have. the record.
Oh,
So
You just
okay,
write-
in the past, we've always done that manually, so that's
Yep,
why
sorry.
I do it the way. They may be accepting PDF though, I don't know.
Okay, I'll check that. I'm just taking notes on top of it right now, just about the date approved piece, which I didn't have on there.
Right.
I'll have to add that today. Okay. Thanks, Laura, also. That's helpful.
All right, thank you very much. Any other comments from committee members on anything that you'd like to see on the agenda next in February? And we're meeting early again in February because of the holiday, the President's Day holiday that kicks our third Monday meeting back again.
I think you were going to just talk about the sampling coming up, right?
That was one of the items to be
Yep.
discussed. We need to start to organize and talk about the estuary sampling as well as the freshwater pond sampling, which is done in, usually the pre-stratification is usually done in April.
Okay.
Figure out if we have enough volunteers, and the estuary sampling is a big one, as you know. So it's better to get ready for it as soon as we can, because it comes up faster than you think.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I will make sure that's on the agenda also. Are there any public comments or announcements or anything out there? I'm not sure who's still here. I don't see anything. Hopefully I'm not missing hands or anything. I don't see hands today for some reason. So unless I'm looking at you guys. So, Ed?
I'd like to move to adjournment and maybe suggest next time you put adjournment on the agenda.
Oh,
It's not just
okay.
an agenda item, and it usually is always the last one.
I apologize for that.
Yeah.
I'll
okay.
second
Second.
the motion.
I thank everyone and all those in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Laura Slivka.
Aye.
I think we have to do it by name because it's a
Yeah.
Zoom. So I, Judy Scanlon, Rich,
Aye, Rich Levy.
Carol,
I, Carol Etzold.
Ed,
I Ed Hafner.
Betsy,
Hi, Betsy Fertney.
Lara.
Aye, Laura Slivka.
I thought I'd do it that way so nobody talks over the other person.
Maybe we can do it alphabetically in the future.
Oh, now you're asking a dyslexic brain to do that.
You can- We can do it in
When you all
reverse.
move- when you all move, you know, when people come on and off, you change it.
Yeah, that's how, I like doing it in the order left to right and then bottom, but anyway. just
Yeah,
an
but
idea.
sometimes the screens show people in a different order. It is
They
odd.
do.
Let
Yeah,
Judy
it's
Yeah.
always
use what
different.
she sees.
Anyway, I
No
thank
problem.
you, all of you on the committee and those watching and anyone else participating, and have a lovely day today. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And thank you, Mia. Thank you, Mia.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.